What's going on, everybody? It's Blandon here from Go Stadium, and I'm posting my first video today. I'm super excited to share with you Flyeagles011's two matchups in the recent Washington Twilight Cup. He actually came first equal with 4 other players. He's an ace trainer, currently ranked 22 in the world, and some interesting matchup. So we're going to jump into them straight away. As you can see at the bottom, you can see his team: Azumarill, Quillfish, Tyranitar, Toxicroak, Muck, Venomoth. And I'm going to quickly just use the team builder to show you how his team stacks up against John, of course, who's running Frostlass, Tyranitar, Toxicroak, Azumarill, Venomoth, and Tentacruel. Now, first of all, if you look at Azumarill, straight away you can see a lot of blue box. What that means is there's a ton of positive matchup, and it's only losing to the Tentacruel very, very hard. So Azumarill is actually doing very well against John. And of course, what you want to do here is to have that coverage against the Tentacruel. So Flyeagles actually have several choices here. Quillfish being one of them, it has to shield bait. Tyranitar is a good coverage for Azumarill as well here. Toxicroak and Venomoth. Venomoth actually has near perfect coverage for Azumarill. So that would be a good pair to start with, and then you might want to use a Pokemon that has very good one shield matchup as a starter. Something like Quillfish or even Toxicroak here is not too bad, unless our opponent decides to start with Venomoth, or even Muck. It's not losing too hard unless our opponent decides to start with Toxicroak. So let's watch how Flyeagles plays this out. Right, let's go. So starting off, we have Alolan Muck against Venomoth. This is a positive matchup for Muck. And so let's see how John, of course, plays this. So starting with Acid Spray, very interesting choice. Opponent is likely not going to shield. And here, Flyeagles decides to shield the Silverwind, which is great because Silverwind would have done a ton of damage. Here he goes for the second Acid Spray, which is quite interesting. Will that draw a shield? So our opponent is not phased at all and decides not to shield. So our opponent here turns a losing matchup to a positive one here and gain a huge advantage. But he made a misplay there by showing his Pokemon before the timer is up. So Flyeagle was able to come up with the counter, and now he has perfect coverage. It's going to be very hard for our opponent, John, of course, to catch up here. He's going to be forcing the shield with the Silverwind, and Tyranitar is going to go down really quickly against Azumarill's bubble, doing super effective damage. He will have to shield this Ice Beam, and here if he baits with a Crunch, that would be pretty awesome. Yep, he does, but he's not going to be able to get to a Stone Edge before the Play Rough hits. So that's GG game 1. So the misplay there is that if there's a simultaneous knockout, you should always wait till the timer has 2 seconds left. So in the second match, we start off with Quillfish against Tentacruel. This is a losing matchup for Flyeagles, depending on if he can land a Sludge Wave. So he decides not to go for the shield bait and just goes for the Aqua Tail. So it's very likely that Tentacruel is going to use Acid Spray here. And it looks like our opponent decides to switch out from this positive matchup. That is quite devastating. He switches out to Toxicroak, and it's pretty much over. It's going to be very hard for John, of course, to catch up here. So, to be honest, that was quite disappointing to see that play from John, of course. But yeah, I mean, Flyeagles is able to take advantage of this and stay ahead. And obviously, John, of course, probably has something else that's weak in the back against Venomoth. That's why he used Tentacruel there. So he was actually better off to let the Venomoth come out. But now it's going to be pretty hard for our opponent to catch up. Tyranitar is going to just sweep up the game. And it's very good that Flyeagles has a perfect coverage duel, which is the Tyranitar and the Venomoth, prepared for a misplay from the opponent, capitalizing on that. Now in the second matchup, we are up against Flyeagles011. And as you can see, let's have a look. What sort of Pokemon would work quite well against Big B? Again, Qwilfish is looking like an MVP here, only losing to Venomoth. And this is amazing because Azumarill has complete 2-shield matchup against the whole team. So Skuntank can win if it can shield bait. So Azumarill being, again, a very, very good contender against Big B's team. So let's see how Flyeagles plays this out. So starting off, let's have a look. We have Alolan Muck again, so it seems like Flyeagles like starting with Alolan Muck. He decides to swap in Azumarill, and our opponent is able to counter with Skuntank. Now with a bit of an energy advantage, Azumarill does have a chance. It depends on what sort of moveset our opponent is running here. Now if this was a crunch, there is a chance for our Flyeagles Azumarill to win, but it was a good shield bait on Big B's end, so now he's going to be at a disadvantage. He's going to just tank this crunch. Now our opponent decides to go for crunch again, and I really think, yeah, that in that situation, Flyeagles could have just gone for a second shield, but here we go. Now Muck is in trouble because it's facing Toxicroak. So it's gonna leave a dying breath of Acid Spray. And now Venomoth comes out, it's gonna delete that Toxicroak super quick. So that was a very impressive switch from Big B. He was anticipating that the Venomoth is gonna come out, but the Toxicroak is almost gone with just a little bit of health. But it might be able to get one more charge move off. So here, Venomoth tanks the Ice Beam and is able to get another Poison Fang. It forces the last shield, and now this Azumarill is stacked up with energy, and it's gonna just hit this Muck for a big chunk with the Ice Beam, and it's pretty much GG here. So very good play on Big B's end to not let this Muck farm too much energy, and is able to finish with their last Mud Bomb. So very exciting plays there. So in game 2, we're starting with Alolan Muck again against Toxicroak. Wow, that's amazing. The opponent did not switch up their lead, and same for Flyeagles. So again, we see a Venomoth switch out here instead of Azumarill last time, which was blocked by the opponent's Poison Skuntank. Now here, there is a chance for Venomoth to take the lead here. It will need to double shield, so let's see how Flyeagles plays this out. This Poison Fang is going to do 1/3 of the Azumarill's health, and Azumarill decides to shield here. Now, does Flyeagles decide to shield? Yes, he does. So is he trying to keep his switch advantage? No, he's trying to switch, but he's going for the Poison Fang here. Is Azumarill gonna decide to shield? And it's not. So now, despite losing the lead, he is able to take switch advantage, but unfortunately, Flyeagles gives that switch advantage up by switching out Alolan Muck. It is able to get the Acid Spray off. But what I like about this play is that even though he's sacrificing that Alolan Muck, now this Venomoth is going to come out and just delete this Toxicroak in just one hit. And here he's able to probably force a shield with this Silver Wind. So it's actually quite interesting the way this played out. Very, very interesting play. I'm sure this is a strategy that Flyeagles has actually practiced. But here, because he's got a Qwilfish, it's going to be pretty tough. And it's got a ton of energy. It's going to be able to finish this Qwilfish And it's GG round 2. Good game.